We've had 3 hospital visits in 1 week. And what we want to do today is we want to update you on how that recovery has gone for all 3 of us. What are you doing?
Making a volcano.
With what?
Kinetic sand and blueberries.
Why blueberries?
I don't know.
How's your throat feeling today? Good. Can you show me where your owie is?
Yeah.
Where's your owie on your face?
Ollie
Where did you have stitches?
did this.
Yeah, that's pretty close.
Did it out.
Did you get your stitches out?
Did it out.
Yeah, and you feel better now. How did you get your owie?
There.
You fell off your chair?
Yeah.
Aww, you okay?
Did the head do?
Yeah, you hit your head just like that, huh? This week has thrown our family through the ringer.
Dad, you can't even see me.
Oh, let's see what we can do. Sit on that. There you go, that's better. What do you think? Is this lighting a little moody? Is it a little moody? There, does that look a little bit better?
Yeah.
Okay, it doesn't look too dramatic or too intense, does it? As I was saying, we've had 3 hospital visits in 1 week. The first one was Tommy. Secondly was Jackson, and what did you have done?
Got my tonsils out.
That's right, and me, I went to the hospital for a hip procedure. And what we want to do today is we want to update you on how that recovery has gone for all 3 of us. First, I wanted to start off talking about Tommy. Now, there's a couple things about Tommy and his situation. First off and foremost, I have to say, I am so proud of this moment. This is the first time that we have gone to the emergency room for a kid and stitches. Jackson and Calvin have never been to the emergency room for stitches. So Jackson, high five. After 3 kids, that's the first time. I call that a huge win. Have you guys ever had to go to the emergency room for stitches? I did when I was a kid. Guess where I had to have it done?
Where?
Right here on my shin.
What happened?
I fell, I was climbing some bricks on a wall, and I fell down, and the bricks fell on my leg and cut my leg open. Ouchies.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so Tommy was sitting at the table having dinner, and he fell down and just hit his lip on the ground, and it split open. Not only did it split open on this side, it split open on the inside, so there was actually a hole through it. It was a small one, but we had to do stitches on the outside and on the inside. Luckily, the inside lip had disposable stitches, and the outside, I think he had 5 or 6 stitches.
Yeah,
it wasn't a
ton.
ton. Yeah, it wasn't a ton of stitches, but it was really, really hard because, one, it was late at night. It was around 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock when all of this happened. So it was past his bedtime and he was very, very tired. We got to the emergency room. He was so happy watching Blippi. It was really cute to see him there despite all of the pain that he was in. But once we got to the back room and the procedure actually happened, it was pretty sad to see him. So in order to get the stitches done, they gave him some sleeping medicine, put him to sleep, and the nurse was amazing. She's a nurse that has been there for years and years and years, and that's exactly who I wanted to have do the stitches. Someone who's been there for a long time and could do it with their eyes closed, with their hands behind their back. And she was great. Once Tommy got the stitches done, he was great. He felt fine. The next morning, it was almost as if it never happened. So Tommy did really great. Our next trip to the hospital was for this guy right here. And again, you had what?
Tonsil surgery.
Tonsil surgery. And you can actually hear it in his voice still. Jackson sounds a little different than he normally does because of the tonsil surgery.
Yeah.
It's been about 1 week since he's had his surgery, and I want to ask you how you feel recovery is going.
Well, in the night I feel in a lot of pain. I'm in a lot of pain in the nights.
Yeah.
But in the day I'm doing great.
Good. What does it feel like at nighttime?
My ears are just like sore pain stuff. I don't really know, but they hurt really bad.
That is basically the biggest issue that we've had with Jackson in recovering. But let's go back to the beginning. When Jackson came home from his surgery, things were actually going really, really well. We were keeping up on his medicine. We were alternating between Tylenol and ibuprofen every 3 hours, and we've been really, really good at that. And we've also been really great at giving you lots and lots of popsicles and Jell-O and ice cream. Has that been fun, or are you sick of that?
I don't really like the Jell-O.
What?
I like popsicles. these?
They gave us these suckers that Jackson would suck on, and they were supposed to numb his mouth, and especially back into this throat, if you could gargle like the sucker liquid, which reminds me of a joke. Suckers are the nastiest candy because you're just flavoring your spit and swallowing it. Is that gross?
Yeah.
It sounds gross when you think of it like that, but that's what a sucker is.
It never even numbs it.
And that's what I was going to say is it was supposed to do that, but Jackson never felt like those suckers did actually numbing. What would you say is the best thing that has made your pain go away?
Maybe the popsicles.
Popsicles, yeah. And those are good because they kind of numb it and they taste good too.
Yeah.
So days 1, 2, and even part of 3 were going really well, even at nighttime. It was 3, 4, 5, and 6, where nighttime was really difficult for Jackson, where he was literally waking up screaming in pain. I know. Wah, wah, wah. So we are doing our best to mitigate that. If anything, I would say that has been the hardest part, is Ellie and I taking shifts at night, taking care of Jackson. It literally is like having a newborn baby where we're waking up every 2 hours trying to take care of Jackson. The nice thing is, he doesn't really remember it all that much. We've also been trying our best to keep Jackson distracted because a lot of the times when you're thinking about the pain, it feels worse than it actually is. Yeah. So what have been your favorite things to do when you've been recovering?
Playing with my Connect Sand, building my Lego rocket ship.
Which is amazing, by the way.
Playing Mario Kart with my dad.
Do you like watching movies in your room?
Yeah.
Do you think when I set up the TV in your room that was pretty cool?
Yeah, and guess what? The last 2 nights, I watched TV shows till 9 these last 2 nights.
Oh my gosh.
I watched them till 9.
That's amazing. That is 2 hours past your bedtime. Don't tell him, but it's because we need to keep up with his medicine. We are rounding off 1 full week after surgery, and days 7 through 10 can be difficult, but we're gonna do our best to keep his pain level down, keep his entertainment up, but not to keep it too high to where he's hurting his throat. So no more screaming, okay?
Okay.
Now, what's been your least favorite part about recovery?
The cherry medicine.
The cherry medicine?
Yeah.
You don't like the cherry medicine?
Yeah, I hate it. It's so gross. I have to drink like a juice with it.
Yeah, so Jackson hates the Tylenol, the cherry medicine, the cherry flavoring. The first time he took it, he spit it out. And then after that, he has to drink it down with something. So he started off doing like tiny sips at a time and then have juice. Tiny sip, juice, tiny sip, juice. And now what do?
I drink the whole thing, then I eat the juice.
So he'll drink, whoop, gulp it down, and then drink the juice. But the ibuprofen, what's that like?
It's a little sour, so I have to drink some water after.
But it tastes a lot better?
Yeah.
That's good. All in all, I guess you could say things are going pretty well with Jackson. There's a few things that we're trying to help mitigate even more, but would you say it's been a successful surgery?
Yeah.
Good. The next trip to the hospital was for my hip injection. I had a steroid cortisone shot injected into my hip to help identify the location and to help mitigate some of the pain that I've been experiencing. I had this hip injection done about 11 years ago to help identify the same thing before my perioacetabular osteotomy. Can you say that?
Perioacetabular?
Close enough. I remember one thing about that, and that was that my leg would just feel completely swollen and tight. What happened next I wasn't anticipating, or at least I didn't remember it happening the first time. Ellie thought it'd be a really good idea for me to document the days and how I'm feeling on those days. So the first 2 days is exactly as expected. I felt numb and swollen. It was hard for me to walk on because it felt weird, but it wasn't as painful as I'd been experiencing before. So those first 2 days were pretty good actually. I didn't have a lot of the hip pain that I had before. It just felt funny. It felt weird. It felt like my funny bone was getting hit. You know, have you ever had your funny bone hit before? Day 3 is when it gets really interesting. The numbing medication, the lidocaine, wears off. Yep, that's exactly right. And the pain comes back. What surprised me is that the pain came back even more so than it normally was. And in fact, my hip just wasn't feeling pain. It was feeling a lot of instability. I felt lots of movement in my hip, and that really surprised me. Since I've been bringing up my hip pain in the videos, I was able to meet and chat with someone who's gone through the same exact experience that I've had with both of their hips. So they have a little bit more than I do, and I asked them about this, and they're like, that's exactly what I felt. So it was encouraging to know that I wasn't alone in this. But my hip has been feeling really unstable after the numbing medication wore off. So day 3, the pain's coming back a lot more, and at nighttime, just like Jackson, that's probably when it's the worst. I have a really hard time sleeping because if I sleep on my back, then the pressure is on my hip, on my back. If I sleep on my left side, then the weight is pushing down. But I think the worst is if I'm sleeping on my right side, my bad hip, then all of my body weight pressure is there. I'm having trouble finding a position that I feel comfortable sleeping in where the pain is completely gone. Days 4 and 5 have just progressively gotten worse. I feel even more instability in my hip and more pain throughout the day. I made a nasty, nasty boo-boo yesterday. I kicked a box. I was upset, I was angry because I was in so much pain, and I kicked a box, and that was probably the worst thing I could have ever done because...
Wait, you kicked a box?
I kicked a box.
Oh my gosh.
I know, can you believe that? How embarrassing. If this pain that I'm experiencing is my new normal, I think a hip replacement is probably the best result. The pain that I'm going through right now is a constant 8, 9, or 10, where I used to be probably a 5. It is debilitating, it's discouraging, and it's not very fun. I'm anxious to know what this feels like in 2 to 3 weeks when the steroid is supposed to kick in. If I'm going to find relief or if this is my new normal. If that's the case, I know exactly what I'm gonna do, and the answer is already made up for me. I'm going to pursue a hip replacement. If the pain goes away, or at least back to what it was, then I think we might have a little more time to find out a decision, to experiment with a few more things. But ultimately, that's where we are. Jackson, how are you feeling? Thumbs up or thumbs down?
Okay.
So your thumb sideways?
Yeah.
Tommy, I would give him a big thumbs up. And Daddy, based on what you've heard, how would you say I'm feeling?
About the same me.
I would say I'm feeling a big thumbs down. I'm kind of sad about it, to be honest. I like playing with you and running with you and riding bikes with you, but it's been hard for me to not be able to do that. I'm embarrassed to say that I'm crankier because I'm in so much more pain. Would you say that Dad's been cranky?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to be cranky. I'm embarrassed to, one, experience that in front of my kids and to even say it in front of my kids, but I'm hoping to find some relief in one way or the other very soon and live up to my kids' potential because they're much bigger and better and stronger than I am. I thought this was a nice way to give you guys an update on all 3 hospital visits that we had last week. I hope you guys are doing well. We'd love to hear from you. Be sure to follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. And we'll catch you guys next time. Bye.
Bye.